Hey YouTube, what's going on? All the work is finished in the family room. The floor is down, the chair rail is up, the bench seats are built, the windows are cased. It's looking really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on into this bedroom and start working in there. And the first thing that I'm going to do is trim out the other side of this door. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build a Craftsman style door from scratch. We'll cut out all the parts, assemble the components and nail it up, and hopefully here in a couple hours we'll have a good looking door we can look at. So what we have here is just a standard pre-hung door. Ordered it from Lowe's, Home Depot, any of those, you can order these doors. But I ordered this one without the casing on it because I can't stand that clamshell casing that comes with these doors when you order them complete. So, doesn't have trim on it, and we're going to trim this out with a 1/4 inch reveal. Some people use an 1/8 inch, I kind of like the 1/4 inch. It kind of gives it a beefy reveal and just adds a lot of detail to it, I think. Interesting, on this door, and all the ones that I ordered, they have already scribed a line that's a 1/4 inch, so we don't have to fool with that. I've double checked it, don't have to measure it. It's a 1/4 inch. But now if we were going to have to mark them, I found this little trim gauge on a YouTube video a while back, and I ordered one. It's pretty neat. You just, set the reveal to what you want it to be and lay it up there and pencil your line, and there you have it. I'm not going to have to do that today, but one of the unique challenges that we're going to have to deal with today with this door is the fact that we're bunched up a little bit in this corner. I'm using standard 3.5 inch wide boards on the trim. I only got 3 inches over there, so we're going to have to put it on a table saw, rip a 1/2 inch off, lay it in there, it'll fit right in. Now I've already measured to the top reveal on the header, and it's 81 inches. So I'm going to go down, get the board, put it on the miter saw. I double checked the other side, it's the same. The door frame is square and plumb and everything, so it'll be the same on both sides. So we're going to go ahead and go down there and cut these boards and bring them up and see what they look like. So now we've got the length measure. Let's go ahead and trim it to fit. Now we'll take this piece to the table saw and rip down the 3 inches that we need. So now we have the table saw set up to take off a 1/2 inch of that board, so we'll have a 3 inch wide board. So let's go ahead and run it through. It's not uncommon to run into the situation where your drywall will stand a little bit proud of your door jamb, and you have to correct that, because if you don't, when you put your trim piece in, it's not going to have a good tight fit against your jamb, and you don't want to have to put a 1/2 inch bead of caulk in there to fill the gap up. So lucky for us, this is in a tight corner at the bottom next to the floor. It's not going to get a lot of attention. There's a lot of ways you can address this. You can take a plane, pull some of that material off. I'm just going to take a utility knife, cut it out a little bit, probably lay this block up against it, beat it in with a hammer, and once that drywall softened up a little bit, I'll be able to move it back a little bit. So that's what we're going to do on this one.
Okay, it looks pretty ugly, but it'll be covered up by the trim board. You won't see it, and now it's gonna fit in there really good. And we'll go ahead and lay our trim pieces up and see if we've cut them properly. Okay, so we took our trim board and laid it in here just to test it, and as you can see, it fits really nice after we made some modifications to the drywall there. One thing that I've learned doing construction is there's not a whole lot of things you can't fix with a big hammer and a couple of solid blows. So we'll go ahead and adjust this up and get it lined up and go ahead and nail it in place. Okay, so we have the two side trim pieces up. They went up really good. They fit really nice and tight against the wall. We have a real well-defined reveal through here. So we're real pleased with how those turned out. The next thing that we're going to start working on is this header. Now when we get this built, that's what brings it all together and gives this that true Craftsman style look. One thing that I'll mention that I've been doing throughout this project to the extent that I can is I've been trying to paint all my pieces before I cut them and put them up. It saves me a lot of time in the long run. It's a lot easier to paint them before I bring them up here and assemble them and then have to tape and paint and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes I'll take a whole day and just paint boards, and when I go to putting the parts together, it really saves me a lot of time. Something to consider. So I've brought you back out here so we can see the finished side of this door and talk about the header and the design elements that we're going to have to build for the other side. This particular casing, this header, is made up of 4 distinct elements. The first element is a piece of bead. This bead is a 1/2 inch thick. It is 1 1/4 inches wide, and it stands proud of your casing by 1/2 inch. The way that we'll make this is we'll take a piece of 1/2 inch stock. You can buy it. It's kind of expensive to buy. You probably have enough scraps from all the other stuff you're doing. I do. That I just run it through the table saw and dimension it to a 1/2 inch. So we take that 1/2 inch and we run it through the router with a roundover bit on each side so that we get that nice round bead. The next element in this header is the top header board itself, which is just a stock 3.5 inch wide board. It's the same board as we're using on the casing. It's made and cut to run at the same dimension, the same width as your casing. The next design element is just standard Cove. You can buy this real easy, it's very available, or you can make it if you have scrap. To me, it's really worth the money just to buy it. It's pretty cheap. If I go to making it on the router table, it just takes a little time, so I just buy it. And the last element is this top stool. It is 2 inches wide, and it stands proud by 1.25 inches. Again, I run it through the router table with a roundover bit to get the nice round finish. So what we have on this, as you go up from your casing, you step out a 1/2 inch, you go up and you step out even further with the Cove, and then finally at the top you've stepped out 1.25 inches. So it gives it a nice look
and I like the way it's turning out. So let's go downstairs, cut out some of these pieces, and start putting this thing together.